their 40s competing, so Michael Phelps could be at it for another 20 years. Can you imagine that with the technology and the physical fitness techniques that they can employ today? We could actually be seeing Michael Phelps 20 years from now compete again. Right now, though, we're asking what you think about him in terms of his placement when it comes to all athletes. Is he the greatest Olympian ever? Is he the greatest athlete ever? Is he on the radar screen, or is it too soon to tell? If you want to tell us what you think, go ahead and give us a call. I'm going to come to you in just a second on the telephone lines, but first I want to return to Baltimore and talk once again with Anita Marks about this. Anita, a lot of great heroes, sports heroes that come out of Baltimore. Where do you think Michael Phelps is going to stack up?
Out of sports heroes out of Baltimore,
yep.
He has to be on the top of the list, in my opinion. Of course, you've got Cal Ripken Jr., who everybody around here thinks he's, the next coming. But beyond him, I mean, you have to embrace him in what he's done. And just to chime in on a few topics that you guys hit on, and one in particular, I think what's really amazing about Michael Phelps is because he's kind of that oh shucks kind of guy that you want to embrace him. You're excited for him because he is kind of goofy. He's got big ears. He doesn't approach you or the pool with that kind of that arrogance, that ego, that swagger that see most professional athletes who have had as much success as he has. And I think that's what's so special and why really this country and this nation has embraced him so, because he is kind of like, well, one of us in a way when you look at him on the big screen.
Now, you mentioned Cal Ripken, and the thing is, Cal Ripken broke a record that a lot of sports historians thought would never be broken. And I remember when the countdown for the consecutive number of games played was ongoing in Baltimore, and everyone kind of had the same enthusiasm and excitement as they embraced that journey. And we thought that record would never break. Do you think that he is one of the greatest athletes of all time?
See, but when you talk about greatest athletes of all time, first of all, you have to define how do you define an athlete? I mean, I think Michael Phelps is arguably the best Olympian we'll ever see. I think he's the best swimmer to ever swim, but the best athlete, I mean, do we know how good of a basketball player he is? Do we know how well he's performed in the Tour de France? You just don't know. So I think everybody's own opinion. I can't honestly sit here and tell you that I think he is the best athlete. I'm in awe of what Lance Armstrong has been able to do. But at the same time, do I feel that he's the best athlete? A lot of people feel that Tiger Woods is.
I was just going to say, we haven't mentioned Tiger nearly enough here tonight. But Anita, I thank you very much for being with us. Really, to have that Baltimore perspective, I really, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You got it. No problem.
All right, we'll talk again soon.
I think you have to also look at individual sports versus team sports. I mean, there's some records that Wayne Gretzky has that people haven't touched in 25 years. I mean, one year he led the league in scoring, goals, and assists. He had more assists by like 20 than the next person had total points, and he dominated not a day, not a week, but a season. Won a Stanley Cup. Now, yes, it's a team sport, but they play 80 games plus 16 games in the playoffs, and they do that for 8 or 9 months. So, is it a team sport? Is it having the team dynamics, a coach to deal with fans who might boo you in opposing arenas, or is it the pressure of performing in a week like Michael Phelps did? And here's your shot. Do it all. You had this 1 week to do it. If not, you have to wait 4 years, and that's pressure too.
Have these 2 minutes in which to accomplish this. There's no chance to go back and redo it. Right.
Right. And you have 45 minutes to recover.
I'd like a re-swim, please. A mulligan? Is that what it is in golf?
No do-overs.
No do-overs. All right, we're going to go to the telephone lines because this is the interactive segment of our show. It is brought to us by Comcast Digital Voice, and it gives you a voice here on It's Your Call. I'm going to go to Baltimore again and talk to Monroe so that the Baltimore viewers can get in here and tell us what they think about Michael. Hey, Monroe, how are you?
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you. What do you think about this boy, Michael Phelps?
There's no doubt about it. What he's accomplished is really special. It's not over with. It's just starting. I believe he's the greatest athlete in the water, and he's on the way to being the greatest Olympian. But for the athlete, I believe an athlete is like played more than one sport, triathlete, or something different. But in the water, there's no doubt about it. I mean.
So do you have a choice for who you might say is the best athlete of all time?
I like Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. Boy, we haven't heard that name in a while. Talk about somebody who had a ton of endorsements, and now where is he? Jeff, you could tell us where he is.
He's a baseball hitting coach. Last time I saw him, he was working for the Chicago White Sox. He bounces around Major League Baseball, still very popular in clubhouses. And yeah, I was going to bring him up a little bit later on. Monroe's right on the money.
Okay.
Bo knows football and baseball, and he had to retire, of course, because of an injury to his hip in football. But he was an all-star in baseball, and we saw what he could do in very limited time as an NFL running back.
All right, Monroe, thanks a lot. We appreciate your call. Let's talk with Terry. Hey, Terry, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
What do you think about Michael Phelps?
Well, I think I'm just going to reaffirm what everybody has said and put down the marks that you can't call anybody one individual that he's the best athlete in the world. He's the best athlete in his expertise. But
okay.
if he played golf with Tiger Woods, he would probably lose.
Yeah, my money, I think, would have to be on Tiger. So is it possible to say that there is one athlete who could have that title?
I really don't think so. If you want to go back even further, somebody like Jim Thorpe that maybe, did several events. But no, I don't think you can label any one individual as the best athlete in the world. He's the best athlete in his profession.
All right.
That's the way it should be labeled.
All right, Terry, thank you very much. And I think that seems to be the thought so far of the people who have called in and who are emailing us. But if you want to tell us what you think, cn8.tv is a way to do it as well. So he may go down in history as the greatest Olympian, but right now the jury is still out on whether or not he is the greatest athlete of all time.
Well, I guess what it comes down to is, what do you define as an athlete and their accomplishments? I feel like the best athletes ever are the ones who've really transcended their sport. They've created a moment. Maybe it was just one thing. Maybe it was an Olympic performance. I mean, like Torval and Dean in 1984, where it's one definitive moment where they'll be remembered forever. Or Nadia Comaneci.
She changed the whole way that we view gymnastics, and we still refer to her, Dorothy Hamill. All right. Well, that's it for this half hour. Can you believe it? Our first half hour has gone by really quickly, but we want to give you an opportunity to weigh in here and tell us what you think about Michael Phelps. Certainly, if you want to send a shout out for his accomplishments, we want to hear from you. If you want to tell us where you think he falls in the list of world's greatest athletes, you can do that as well. And if you want more discussion, you can stay here with us on cn8.tv. Otherwise, email me at cn8.tv or take our web poll.
You still with me, Andy?